Hi, everyone. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to everybody for coming, and thank you for coming tonight. We're going to start in about 2 to 3 minutes. Just let a few more folks get in. So be right back.
Didn't I just see you the other night?
Yeah, he's holding the account. How you doing?
Remind me your name, sir.
Robert.
Hi.
Hi, Charles. Here.
Charles, nice to see you.
You were the MC, so
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I'm gonna kinda do that. Yeah. Try not to buff anything up. That's the rule. Alright, well, I'm glad you got you. Pardon? Yeah, Rob Chief will be talking to you.
All right, we're going to get started now, so if you want to grab a seat, now is a good time. There's most of y'all are sitting. You guys are ready. This is awesome. All right. All right, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I know it's one of those nice chilly nights that it's easier to stay home, so we appreciate seeing everybody out. I want to invite Alderman Chico to come up. We want to thank him for supporting this project, this community, and CTA in general. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Alderman.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. I am Peter Chico. I am the proud alderman of the 10th Ward, the biggest ward in the city of Chicago. We go from 83rd Lakeshore Drive all the way to the Golden Gate community. So we have a lot of land to cover in 9 different communities, which I represent. You know, the Altgeld Gardens community is the newest part of the 10th Ward. During the remapping, we acquired Altgeld Gardens and Golden Gate. And one of the things I recognized right away from campaigning and then becoming the alderman of the ward is the lack of amenities here in this community. Basic amenities were lacking here. And one of the main things the obstacles that I saw that prohibited us from getting those amenities were connectivity and transportation. So something 50 years in the making is now coming to fruition. The red line extension will be ending at 130th Street, which is remarkable. And with the red line extension ending here, transit-oriented development will shortly come after. People want to be around transit. They want to pop up stores and different types of amenities. So we're definitely looking forward to that. But to do all that, we want to make sure that this community is involved every step of the way. These are the types of projects that help uplift the community from the ground up. So that's what we're going to be doing, ensuring that workforce is represented from this community and that we have a say in the project. And I know I got my folks in the back holding the red line folks accountable for that. So I thank you for that, and thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for sharing this wonderful project and this big investment, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Alderman. Appreciate you. I, again, want to thank everybody for coming, and I definitely want to call out to our local advisory council and President Bernadette Williams. Thank you so much for your support, your advocacy, all of the things you do. So thank you. Tonight, we've got a lot to go into, so we'll get started. We're going to provide you an overview of where we are at with this project right now. I can say that this series of public meetings we are having are the first ones we have had since CTA secured all of the financing for this project. So we are fully a go, and it feels great to say that to you guys, so thank you. We'll follow that with a presentation from our design build contractor, which is Walsh Vinci. They're going to talk about the construction approach, the construction phasing, and some of the things that you can expect to see and hear as we go forward. We'll follow that by a short Q&A, and then you'll have the opportunity to speak with folks around the room about different topics, which I'll get into in a second. All right. So this project, as we've always said to you, and we've said to others, and we've said it as much as possible, this is not just a transit project. Transit is an important part of this project, obviously, but it's also about investment in communities and people, and making jobs, and making positive changes, careers that support families, and that grow neighborhoods. I want to just mention that we've got contractors, Walsh Vinci, Defined, Southside Partners, our construction manager. We have Hire 360, Chicago Women in Trades, Metropolitan Family Services, CTA HR. If you are looking for a job, you are looking for training, you're looking for opportunity, you've got a small business and you want to find out how to participate, we've got all of those folks in the room for you. And here is an example on the screen is Pink Hats Construction. They are a Southside company, and they've already done multiple work packages for us just as we get ready for this project. So that's just scraping the surface. There's a lot more to come. Before I turn this over to my colleague, I do want to address a rumor that has been circulating that CTA is purchasing blocks in this community. That is not true. We are not acquiring any properties in this area. So if you have any questions, please see Gerald Nichols in the back, but no truth to those rumors. So just want to put that to rest. Okay, so with that, I want to turn it over to my colleague, Michelle Palmore. She will talk about where we are at with the project. She's a project manager and very knowledgeable about where we're going. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. as Tammy indicated, my name is Michelle Palmore, and I'm one of the project managers at CTA that's assigned to this historic project. So, as a project overview, I'll give you a synopsis of what that looks like. So, we're extending the red line from the current 95th terminal along the Dan Ryan to 130th in the historic Altgeld Gardens. This is one of the first public housing developments in the United States. This project is a 5.5-mile extension, and that will include 4 newly accessible stations with multi-modal connections that will include bike, park and ride facilities, pedestrian and bus. This extension will elevate from 95th Street to 119th, and then ground level from 119th to 130th. Also including is a moderate, efficient rail car storage yard and maintenance facility, which will be at 120th to support the extension and the red line operations. Okay, so here's what the new elevated and ground level portions of the track to be built. This is an overview of it. We expect to break ground early next year after completing a number of milestones, including securing federal, state, and local funding, including a nearly $2 billion federal grant that took place in January of this year. This historic project also includes developing with the city a transit supportive development, in which we call TSD. And this plan is to foster reasonable economic development that will benefit the communities that we serve. The extension would provide a new, more direct connection to the red line. This means an easier trip and less time commuting. All stations, as I stated, will be fully accessible to customers with disability. The Red Line Extension Project will provide up to 30 minutes time savings to riders traveling from 130th to the Loop. Again, that's up to 30-minute time savings. This project is convenient. It's accessible to multiple CTA red lines and bus routes. This project will also bring a 46% increase in newly accessible jobs within an hour commute of the RLE project area. Shorter commutes equals more time for you in your day. New transit options contribute positively to our environment by providing air quality and reducing harmful emissions and greenhouse gases. These are the benefits. We are expecting, because we're at an exciting stage of this project, we're doing a lot of preparatory work right now that's necessary so we can build the tracks next year. There are currently 3 main areas of work occurring now. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is some of the properties that's being demolished, some of the utility pole relocation, and some soil boring that's taking place. As I stated, CTA has already acquired the properties for this Red Line Extension project. Demolition work has begun. That's exciting. Affected areas will continue to receive advance notifications. Like I stated, as the visual shows, we're relocating utility poles and other equipment to make way for the new tracks to be built. This includes electric, gas, water, and cable. The contractor has performed soil borings, which is samples and that analyze the soil as part of the process to design the underground foundations for the new track.
Now,
try to speak loud. Now we'll introduce Rob Cheeseman, who is the construction manager of the Walsh Vinci team. He will cover how his team plans to build this project and phase the work. Once construction is underway, we will notify the community. There will be multiple areas of work occurring at the same time. We are committed to working with the contractor to provide you with an advance notice of the work and how we will work to reduce the impacts to your community. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. We're real excited to be here. Technical difficulty. Is that one? Perfect. Thank you, Kate. So my name is Rob Cheeseman. I'm the construction manager for the project. The contractor, Walsh Vinci, is the one doing the main work, bulk of the work, in charge of putting this thing together. It's made up of two companies, Walsh Construction, who's been around in the Chicago area for 125 years plus. Vinci Construction is a large worldwide company. They've been in business for close to, if not longer than Walsh. They're a very good company, very capable. They've built this kind of work all over the world, and we're glad to have them on the team. So we're very honored to be here to help build this project. It's not often we get to do a project that's so impactful and provides so many benefits. And again, we're very excited to be here to do this project one more. So this is a little sample of the work we did on the north side. This is a similar bridge to what we'll be building here to bring the red line south down to 130th. This is what's called a segmental bridge construction, where the bulk of the bridge is built in 10-foot segments and then assembled span by span using this large erection gantry. It's quite an operation. It's fun to see, and it moves very fast. So when you see it go through your neighborhood, don't blink because it'll be gone in a little while. So, and how we build this project, again, everything needs a foundation, so that'll be the first real big operation you see out there is the foundation installation. Then we put the substructure columns coming out of the ground, and then the bridge structure sits on top of that. So this segmental bridge method really reduces the amount of impacts you have at ground level versus a conventional beam and concrete deck bridge. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. So this is a very, very large project. It's kind of like eating an elephant. How do you do that? One bite at a time. So we've broken this job up into 6 little bites. And each one of those has a lot of work inside each one. So starting from 95th and heading south, you'll hear this a lot as we communicate things on the job, these 6 different zones. The first again being just south of the 95th station. And that's in the rail yard where we take off with the new red line tracks on the outside tracks and then start to come over the top of I-57. That leads us to segment 2, which is basically the I-57, I-94 corridor. And then it turns south to parallel the UPRR line between right along Eggleston at 99th Street. So that kicks off segment 3, which parallels, again, UPRR down to 107th. And then at 107th, the bridge goes over the top of the UPRR tracks again, and that's where we start segment 4. And in segment 3, we have the 103rd station. Segment 4, we have the 111th and the Michigan station, just around 115th Street. So that segmental bridge will continue from the end of segment 1 all the way to the end of segment 4. And then we've got 8 tracks of Metro line and CN line we have to go over the top of just south of 119th Street. So that'll be a long span steel bridge, so it won't be the same as the segmental bridge, but that'll be called segment 5. And at the end of segment 5, we come down to ballasted grade just along the MWRD plant. And that continues at grade, ballasted track, all the way down to 130th Street. So 130th Street will actually build a bridge over the top of the existing, up over the new rail line. So that's something you'll be seeing in the near future, is building a bridge at the same elevation the roadway's at now. And then the new tracks will go underneath that. And then once we pass 130th, we end up here at the 130th Street station. And that is segments, or zone 6. Next slide. So this is going to be a long, boring talk here, but we're going to get into some general time frames of when work is going to be happening and what type of work is going to happen at each phase, in each zone. So again, we start with foundations, get utility out of the way, then we start to come out of the ground with a bridge structure, and then we build the main part of the bridge over the top right after that. And then we follow along with the track and the systems, which the trains will be running on. And at the end of each phase, we'll tie it all together at the end and be ready to open in 2030. So the general time frames, segment 1 is one of the last ones to get started. It's a very complex piece of work. We have a lot of pre-work and engineering to do to work out how to do that in the most efficient manner possible. So that work will be starting in the fall of 2027. And we're looking about 2 years to get the bridge out of the ground and the track and systems built. And then that'll be ready to start testing and commissioning in 2029 and complete in 2030. So next zone. Zone 2 over IDOT. We've got a lot of work to do there to coordinate with the existing freeway lanes. We'll have to shift those around a bit. We've got some utility work to do before the bridge can start. The foundations will be starting about 18 months from now along I-57. And then we'll come out of the ground with some large columns. So over I-57, the new bridge will be about 60 feet up in the air. So that'll be quite an impressive sight to see the new red line go over the top of I-57. The structure construction will follow along in 27 and 28. And then we've got the rail and systems in 28 and 29. In segment 3, we'll start ahead of segment 2, and then the 103rd Street station will start in late 2027, and it's about a 2-year construction period for that station and park and ride lot. Next slide. Segment 4 is our first area of work, starting at 119th. We'll be working from there, working north. So those will be the first foundations we see go in the ground, starting in about a year from now. Immediately following the foundation work, we'll be coming out of the ground with the structure and columns, and that'll be the first real physical thing you'll see out there for the new red line. That work will go on through the spring of 28, and then we'll have the superstructure, which is the large erection gantry, which we showed a video of earlier. We'll be starting in 2027, working its way from the Metro to the north. Track and systems, again, will follow behind that. And then the 2 stations at 111th and Michigan. 111th will start in late 27, and Michigan will start in early 27. And again, about a 2-year construction period for each one. Segment 5, zone 5. Again, this is the section over the 8 tracks for Metro and CN. This work will be starting in late 26 with the foundations and columns. And then the superstructure will start in fall of 27, followed by the track. And then zone 6, south of there, that'll be starting, I think there's an advanced contract to start some demolition and tree removals and grading ahead of us. That'll be starting pretty soon.
And then we come in behind it in late 26 with systems duct banks that we have to put in under the tracks. And then we have the 130th Street Bridge construction will take 2 seasons basically, starting in early 2027 through the end of 2028. The duct banks will be followed by the track work. And the 130th Street station is starting in late 2027. Again, about a 2-year construction period. And then all these zones come together in 2029, where we do system-wide testing with test trains, start to energize the third rail, and then do our final punch list to close out to get it ready for opening in 2030. So with construction comes impacts that can't be avoided because it's a heavy operation, but we do our best to minimize those impacts, whether it be dust, noise, vibration, light. If we're doing any night work, we do our best to minimize that, avoid night work if we can. There will be some impacts to streets, but again, with our segmental bridge construction, those are really minimized. Just to when we put the span overhead. So we'll have some other impacts for roadways at the stations when we install the platforms over the streets, but we do our best to keep those impacts to a minimum. We'll have signed detours so everybody can figure out how to get around it in plenty of advance notice. So we'll be working with Tammy and Latrice's team to get the word out of when these giant time frames are approaching, and when we get to the real construction starting, we'll be getting the construction activity notices posted. So mitigations, as I mentioned, is advanced notification, a lot of communication. You'll get sick of hearing from us, but we do our best to communicate every time we change something. And then we have proactive abatement measures for pests and wildlife. When we do that heavy work, they'll be disturbing that, so we'll have the abatement measures out there and working with the city of Chicago on along with what work they're doing out there now. Next slide. And at this point, I would like to hand it over to Lakeisha, who will be talking about our goals for the project.
Thanks, Rob. Good evening, everyone. You guys, give me some energy. This is a historical project right here in the Altgeld Garden footprint. You guys we should have a parade. I feel like I need some intro music. Anyway, I am Lakeisha Hillard, as Rob Cheeseman said. I'm the new Regional Diversity and Inclusion Manager for Walsh Construction and the Walsh Venti Transit Community Partners Group that has been awarded the contract for the CTA Red Line project. And I am so excited to be here, you all. It is a pleasure to be a part of history. You guys that live in this community and contractors and tradesmen who want to be a part of this should be jumping with joy right now, right? We're right in Altgeld Gardens. This project is long overdue. And we are here ready to make history. And so while we see these numbers, I kind of have my own breakdown, or the breakdown, so that we're not just high leveling you all the time with numbers, but you can see the numbers here, right? And a lot of you are here like, but what does that mean for me, right? What's in it for me? What's the width from here? What's in it for me? And so the design goes, that's on our sister EXP side, the joint venture with sister and EXP. That means there's $58.9 million available for DBE contracts, right? So if you are in the design scope of work, there is opportunity that we would like for you to meet with our sister partners, to get a meet and greet, to see where you fit in so you can get your piece of the pie, okay? as it pertains to the construction goals, it's 22%. Because as you know, this is a design-build project. So we're designing and building at the same time. No, we're not building the plane and flying it at the same time, but something like that, right? And so the construction is 22%, which means 560 or so $million. Next slide, please. And so that means there's a lot of opportunity out there for small businesses or disadvantaged businesses to take place in this. So a lot of significant opportunity. How can you be a part of that? So basically what you need to do is make sure that you're DBE certified. CTA, our owner, does not care whether you're minority or women-owned business. While we do care, they care about that, but federal regs mean that it has to say disadvantaged. So there's gender and race neutral. So DBE stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. Make sure you're certified. There are certifying agencies, whether they're regional, local, or national, that will allow for you to do that. CTA is also a certifying agency, and it is my understanding that they are one of the quickest right now as it pertains to getting you certified within 60 days. For us as the general contractor, as long as by the time contract is executed, you are DBE certified, you can be midstream in that process of getting certified. So don't think because you only have the M or W or the V that you are obsolete from being a part of this project. You can still, there's time to get going with that. So what that means, talk to one of our representatives. I believe JP, Misty's team, they're here, Chanel, the certifying team is here for small businesses to help you with that. JP is in the back. He is the diversity director for CTA. I may be blotting up your title, JP. I'm sorry. I think you just got a promotion. But nevertheless, CTA is a very hands-on owner as it pertains to this project. So they want to make sure they see us as the general contractor helping community members and small businesses or disadvantaged businesses across the city, state, nation be a part of this project if we can. So as it pertains to other opportunities within that 50 or 560 million, I know you're like, well, what kind of contracts does that? We can talk about that. My other teammate, Kate here, the other diversity and inclusion manager that's at the table, we will talk to you about that as solicitation packages go out. Make sure your NASIC codes are updated with the Illinois UCP directory. If you don't know what that means, we're happy to help coach you, talk you through that also, or direct you to an assist agency if you're not technically equipped, to be up to speed to make sure that you can bid properly and have the opportunity at a project this size. So please see us now. After this, our contact information will be available for you. As far as workforce goals are concerned, we have it on the design side. There's a 10% national EDA. EDA stands for Economically Disadvantaged Area, okay, or area code, area zip codes. So there is a list, this map that is on CTA's website that tells you what those states are, zip codes, areas are. So if you're in that area, this go round with this project, CTA is doing a really good job of making sure that disadvantaged individuals, architects, designers, construction management firms are represented on the design aspect of this project. And so if you're not, living in this particular service area, but you may live in one of these zip codes or you know someone, please make sure you share the opportunity with them to be a part of the project as well. From the WIOA, it's the Workforce, Kate just told me 5 times and I forgot again. WIOA, it's Work Career Opportunity Act, but it's Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act and Section 3 workers. And so WIOA basically is for people who are in underserved zip codes. We want to make sure that those facing barriers for employment get an opportunity at this work. And so that is where that 10% comes from. 15% apprentice opportunities. So this means it's a strong opportunity for those entering the registered apprenticeship programs to get a chance at an opportunity like this as well. Service area EDA, which I kind of referenced a little bit ago, just means we're prioritizing workers from the community, okay? The service area, there's also a list of those zip codes that can be found on CTA's website, but our service area, obviously, Altgeld Gardens in this community, there's surrounding areas that could be Alston, Robbins, Blue Island. I'm throwing it out there, don't hold me to them, but I'm just letting you know there are service area zip codes that are particular to this particular project as well, so that makes up 35% of that. Next slide, please. Well, I think that's it for now, but just so you know, with the 10% design goals, we're just really aiming to include disadvantaged backgrounds in the design phase. Rob Cheeseman went over the construction timeline, so during that timeline, that's where we're trying to capture those in that EDA on the design side of it. How can local workers get involved, right? Many of you are here, you want to know, how can I be a part of this? Maybe I don't live in this, zip code, but I've been in the trades for some time. I really want to be a part of the project, or I live in the zip code, I'm an apprentice. Whatever your need, want, or desire is, you need to make sure that you connect with our local workforce team that's here in the building. Some of the local workforce agencies that we work with and represent through CTA are Hire 360, who's here in the back. Wave your hand, please. We have Hire 360, we have Chicago Women in Trades, we have Revolution Workshop, we have, what's our other one? Metropolitan Family Services. I believe those are the top 4 off of my mind right now. Pardon me, but my nerves are in the way a little bit. But those are the main workforce agencies that we and CTA work with. It's important to get signed up and registered with them so that you can too be a part. It's not the only way, but it's definitely a good way to ensure that you are a part of the project when it comes to workforce. Make sure that if you're not and you're interested in a career in the trades, that you'll enroll in one of the apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship programs. We're working on something at Walsh Venti as well to roll out here soon with the local Network 17 in Chico's area with the high schools and other areas. Eventually we'll roll that out. I won't speak much to it right now, but that's our goal, to part of our DBE and workforce utilization plan, to make sure that we work with the high schools in the area and local community members to make sure that people are a part of this opportunity. Maybe you didn't know you wanted a career in the trades, or give you the opportunity to have that open mind to see what it's like to work in the trade. So we'll be rolling something out like that soon. CTA has a program called Train to Tracks, or Tracks to Trade. And so we are going to probably build on that in this area as well, to make sure that we are reaching the community members to meet these goals. They're very ambitious. But also seeking employment through subcontractors who are required to meet these workforce goals or participation goals is another way to connect and network. Just make sure you get our information. We have a QR code so you can stay in touch with project updates. But I won't keep you, and that's really just to speak to where the goals are. I'm really excited. Please reach to us. If we can't help you, we know someone who can, but it's important, like this gentleman right here from AP, can you stand up? Because you've been at every single Meet the Contractor event, and that is what I'm talking about. It's important to show your face and the place so that you can have a piece of this pie, because we remember you at the end of the day, we do, and that's about good networking. But thank you all for the opportunity to be here. Please stay in touch, and we look forward to serving you in this area.
Thank you so much, Lakeisha. That is a hard act to follow. She's got lots of energy. Okay, so we presented you all with a lot of information tonight, and we'll now have time for some questions. I do want to just ask for a couple of things. If you can keep it to one question a person, and we can come back to you, just to make sure that we get everybody's questions answered. We have a mic on this podium. You're welcome to come up to ask your question. If you need someone to bring the mic to you, happy to do it. Katie right here will help you out. Okay, so with that, we can start questions.
just want to say, my name is Bernadette Williams. I'm the president out here at Altgeld Gardens. And what you didn't mention was the leadership, because you all not doing anything without us. Okay, we've had this argument before. So each workforce that you just said, we're gonna be part of that workforce too.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Appreciate that.
I'm Brother Eddie Reed, Chairman of Chicago Black United Communities. I want to know, black people always have to defer to these zip codes, but you don't make none. When you leave the zip code, the black workers don't go to the next zip code. You don't hold contractors accountable to zip codes, and you don't call others. But you make all of the black people adhere to zip codes. How are you going to make that fair and equitable? Are you going to hold everybody to zip codes?
Thank you for the question. Good evening, everyone. My name is Juan Pablo. Programs, both for the DBE program as well as our workforce initiatives. To your question, so the way that we designed our goals is so that the contractors that work with CTA will have the same zip code requirements project over project. So what we want is that continuity of employment that you're talking about, where you don't want them to get picked up for a project and then once the contractor leaves that area, the worker gets dropped. We want them to carry that employee to other projects. So that is our intent behind keeping the zip code list the same project over project. And we're focusing on making sure that we have the resources for individuals to get the training and resources they need to reduce any barriers for employment.
All right, thank you. Next, we got another question?
Yes, my name is Bob Wardlaw. I'm from the Labor Institute. And I would like to know, does each subcontractor have a labor management agreement with CTA? And what does that labor management agreement say? For example, the carpenters used to have a 5-to-1 ratio, which meant that in order to hire one apprentice, they had to be employed 5 journeymen. So if you hire 15 journeymen, in order to reach that 3%, or 10%, whatever was up there, you only need to hire 3 apprentices. So what's being done to meet those goals? Will they be more than just a general? Will the sub have to also meet that? And who will be tracking to see if those goals are met?
Okay, so my name is Kate Roberts. I'm a diversity and inclusion manager along with Lakeisha on this project. What I understand your question to be is, are the contractors, are they signatory to the unions? Yes, they are. All of our contractors, ourselves, Walsh Vinci, as well as all of our subcontractors, are going to be signatory to the unions. So they have to honor their agreements, which is exactly as you're saying, an apprentice ratio. For anybody else, it's designed so that the apprentice actually gets a learning opportunity and can be productive on the project without being thrown on the deep end of things and expected to carry a project as a seasoned individual would. So yes, those will be part of our working requirements on the project. And each of the goals that are assessed to us as the prime contractor, 10% for the careers opportunity, 15% for apprentices, and 35% for EDA, are all going to pass through to our subcontractors. Each of them as well is going to have a workforce that represents those goals, as well as coming from the community pools of individuals to ensure that people from the community are working on the project in the community.
Well, people in the community have to understand that they have to meet the requirements of that labor. Being unemployed does not qualify you to work on the
Sure, I understand that, yes. So I don't want to say that you have to be in one of those categories to be hired on the project. That is not true. The rest of the workforce that doesn't have goals assessed to it, you don't have to fit into a bucket to work with us. If you're from the community, you don't fit in any of those buckets, I would still love to talk to you. We want to give preference to individuals who are from the community because we know that we're in your community. So we want to know who you are, we want to know what your skill sets are so that we can connect you with the right people to employ you on the project.
Will that be posted online so people can see who's filling on the job?
Yes, CTA will manage us as the prime contractor to ensure that we're fulfilling all the requirements for the goals. In past projects that we've worked with the CTA, we've been rather transparent of where we are at meeting those goals on our project website. We anticipate doing the same thing here on this project.
So this project is not an unemployment answer for apprentices?
This project is not an unemployment answer for apprentices, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
No, it's not. It's just an open opportunity for individuals across the board, whether they fall into these categories or not.
All right, we'll take another question.
My question to you, is there going to be anything that's going to be part with solar? The solar project? Is the solar project going to be part of what's going on here with CTA with 130th?
I'm not sure which solar project you're speaking of.
No, there were some early concepts on the project that talked about possibly adding some solar to the parking garage or to the structure. The current design doesn't include any solar concepts. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leon Ivy, Site Supervisor at Altgeld Gardens. I have the CTA job listing here. I was just wondering if this was made available to the residents.
Yeah, we have handouts at the table in the back. Can you wave where those handouts are? Oh, thank you. All right, the folks waving over there. Yes, and we list all of our job openings on our website, CTA or transitchicago.com/careers, and they are updated every Friday with the new openings. Oh, and there's right there's a QR code you can scan and get the latest jobs. Another question? All right, well, thank you very much. I invite you, please visit our contractors, our CTA tables. We've got Venture in the room as well, we didn't mention earlier. Thank you to the local advisory council for being here, and have a good evening.